and welcome to a new episode of the Diaries of Everything Ching. I hope you guys have your beverage, whether it's hot, cold, or warm. I do not discriminate. So, this episode is interesting because I self read myself. It was giving nabbage. It was giving, oh wow. And I was like, I have to talk about this. So first things first, let me say, I don't know why, but I've always been the girl to joke about marriage as it pertains to me. So like I would always be the girl like, child, I'm not getting married. It's giving baby mama, like stupid shit like that. And so I saw a proposal. And this is when I got my rights read. Interesting, right? I was watching a proposal. I love proposal videos in general. They're beautiful, and I just love to see how much effort a person would go for the person that they love. But this particular one was a little bit different because it wasn't even just the couples that you saw, it was the family and how much love the family had for one another. And I was sitting there watching it and I'm like, do I not want that? So then I really got in my head. And I haven't had the best example of marriage in a happy way. Yes, I've been around married couples, but nobody looks happy. Everyone is just there. And so I used to be like, what is there to look forward to? I was never the girl who was opposed to marriage, but because I never saw anything too interesting about it, I didn't really feel the need to want to incorporate it to my level of success. I've only thought about marriage twice in my life. Once when I was 18 and once when I was somewhere in my mid 20s. The first time when I was 18 and I thought about it, that was a person that I could actually see myself in a marriage with. The second time I thought about it, it was because of the pace of our relationship. It seemed to only make sense. But I never thought beyond that. I thought, okay, yeah, I see myself actually being married to this guy, but I didn't know what the marriage would look like. I didn't know how to illustrate what my ideal marriage was. So that coupled with not really having the best level of options, I used to always be like, yeah, there's nobody out here that I want to marry. And then one day when I was sitting watching this video, this proposal video, a thought came into my head, literally said to me, or to myself rather, is it that you don't want to marry anyone? Or is it that you convinced yourself of your ideology so much that you became the woman that nobody wants to marry? Because if I already have this energy that I'm not even trying to marry nobody, how would I then expect someone to come in with, I want to be your husband energy? If I'm giving off a particular energy, I'm going to get that energy back. And I've made jokes so often that I know the universe has certain words muted when it comes to me. And anytime I talk about certain things, they probably just send it to spam. Now, that's not to say that I don't want love and I don't want to be in a committed relationship. What I'm saying is, if I don't get married, I won't feel like a complete failure. That's one. And what I'm also saying is my ideology of the fact that I was so focused on not the most loving marriages and also being so focused on the amount of men that aren't seen as husband material in my eyes has also put me in a position or put me in a state where I have to also become a person that no one's gonna approach. I too become, well, there's no girls out here that I want to marry, and I would be in that because I'm not a woman that's exuding that energy. So that's what I'm saying. I don't have a negative connotation as it comes to marriage, but I think a lot of times if somebody isn't around marriage, marriage is not in their mind. Not all the time, because there's some people who aren't around marriage and then that just becomes all they crave. But for me, I didn't see it. So I was like, okay, cool. But now I'm thinking as I'm getting older, am I getting to a point where I'm more open to it? Because I've never liked the idea of being in a big church and standing in front of people while I have to recite vows to my group. I always thought the few times I did think about marriage with my 18-year-old boyfriend and my boyfriend in my 20s, they were always small weddings. They were never huge. I was going to the court and it was wham bam thank you ma'am and have a dinner. And if I were to get married, that's how I would prefer it because that level of attention would give me anxiety. But I want to hear from you. Have you ever thought about it like that? Where you're that, I don't want to say that I'm afraid of marriage, but you have that ideology about marriage so strongly that it actually affects how you communicate with others and how you present yourself to the world. If not, then let's talk about that too. Follow me on Instagram. It is everything Ching. And on Twitter, this is everything Ching. One of them have a period in between the everything and Ching, but I'm not sure which one right now. However, I will find out and put it in the caption. Until next time, cheers to a new episode of Everything Ching, and I will see you guys next time.